Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Tutorials. I'm Kim. In this video we're going to make this utterly gorgeous little daisy square, and as you can see it's a really simple square with only 3 quick rounds. The center round in yellow, the petal round in white, and then a surrounding color round. They look absolutely magnificent. It's about a 4-inch square, so because it's only 3 rounds, it's not a massive square, but it certainly is extremely effective. So how do you make it? Let's get started. I've used 10-ply yarn for these squares. They are, 10-ply yarn is really a number 4 worsted weight yarn. You can of course make them in any particular yarn you like, but they will, if you use a different or a lighter weight yarn, it will come out a smaller square. So I'm using the 10-ply. We do need to make a magic ring at the beginning, and that is to ensure that this central hole in the middle of the daisy is closed. If you don't want to use a magic ring, you can chain 4 and then join your ring with a slip stitch in the first chain. Just to give you an idea of what it looks like, I made this one. It does have quite a large hole in the middle, so it is significantly different. Entirely up to you how you do it. You can of course use the chain and make a ring method, but you won't be able to close the hole in the way you can on this square. So entirely up to you. I'm going to show you how to do the magic ring. Just lay the yarn end over your hand like that and wrap it around the front of your first 3 fingers, and then wrap it back around. So come up with the yarn and cross it over on the top there. Then grab your hook and go in under that first strand, grab the second strand and drag it through, and just turn the hook so it's up like that and there's a loop on the hook. And then I take this opportunity just to grab that working yarn again and chain 1. And basically when I make a magic ring, I know that I chain 1 in that method. So when I chain up, which I'm going to do in just a second for the height of a double crochet, I've already got 1 chain there and I only need to chain 2. But what we're going to do is put 12 double crochets. In the UK, you'll know that as the treble crochet into this ring. So chaining 3 goes to the height of a double crochet, but as I mentioned, I had already chained 1 to make my magic ring, so I only need to chain 2, and then just put 12 double crochets into the ring. So as I said, in the UK, you will know that as the treble, but essentially you yarn over, go into the stitch or the ring, yarn over and pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. If you want to make the magic ring and you need a tutorial on exactly that, there is a slowed down process on how to make the magic ring that I'll link in the video here. So this chain that we made at the beginning counts as a double crochet, so we have 3 and we need 9 more then, because we need a total of 12. If you find your magic ring is being a little bit dramatic, just shut it a little bit and then continue to put those double crochets into that ring until you've got 12. I tend not to count as I go. I just stop and count when I think I'm at 12. Frequently I'm wrong. Frequently I'm just at 10. So, but I'll see you when this is complete. What do you know? That time I stopped and I did have 12. Okay, so when we shut the magic ring, all we do is pull on the tail. So we pull on the loose tail and give it a good firm tug. You might get to here and you think, oh no, that's stopped closing. Give it more of a tug and it'll close completely. And then all we need to do is slip stitch to the top of that chain 3 that we made, or the chain 2 if you chained 1 with your magic ring like I did, to close that. And we can fasten off our yellow. That is the end of round 1. For round 2, you're going to work a popcorn stitch into the top of each of these stitches around. And a popcorn stitch, you just need your a slip knot on the hook, and just join it in any one of these stitches. I tend to go into the one where I just slip stitched, so that's this one right here. And that is so I can work across this yellow tail. So we need to do a beginning popcorn first, and that requires us to chain 3 and then put 2 more double crochets into that exact stitch. So that's 1 and 2. And with a popcorn stitch, you need to, once you finish the double crochets, generally it's 3, but it could be more than that if it's a bigger popcorn, take your hook, pull up a loop at the end there and take your hook out, and then you need to insert it in the top of the first double crochet. And in this case, in the beginning popcorn stitch, it is a chain 3. So we need to just insert it into the top of that chain 3, and then grab this loop and pop it on your hook, tighten it down, and then just slip stitch that through that top of that chain 3 and chain 1. And that's a popcorn stitch. A popcorn stitch always ends with a chain 1. Don't tighten this chain 1 down, because when you come back around, you're going to need to join into this chain 1 space and not any of these other loops here. So don't tighten that down too much, and chain 2 for the next space. And then we are going to put a popcorn stitch into every stitch around. So just into the next stitch, under the 2 loops of the next stitch, 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And again, we need to popcorn. So pull that loop out and then come in under the 2 loops of your first double crochet. So under those 2 loops, and then pop that loop back on the hook, tighten it down and slip it through. And again, chain 1 to complete the stitch. A popcorn stitch always ends in a chain 1, and then chain 2 for our chain space. And we're going to do that 12 times, so once into every stitch around this circle. 3 double crochet, complete the popcorn by going in under the 2 loops of that first double crochet that we made, pop that loop back on the hook, tighten it down and slip it through. Chain 1 and then chain 2 for our space. Once you've done that 12 times, you need to do that in each stitch around. I'll meet you at the end here. Okay, so I'm at the end of this round here. I've made my final popcorn stitch and I've chained 2, and then we need to just come back and join into that chain 1 that we made to close our popcorn stitch at the beginning. And it might be a little bit tricky to get into, which is why I suggested don't tighten it down too much, but you can get into it, and there it is there, and just slip stitch to join back around to that. If your popcorn stitches are curling over, if this second round is curling over like that, don't worry about it. It is perfectly normal and it will be fine. So just fasten off that white round, and that is round number 2 done. So you can see that I've worked over my end here, the end that was where I tied off on the yellow, and I'll just cut that off. And then I'm going to do the same actually with this end. So what we need to do is just pop a slip knot on the hook for the next round, and this is the round that can be any colour you choose. Blankets made out of this square in all the same colour, so whatever colour you choose, making this square again and again and again with this surrounding colour just looks magnificent. You just see this kind of sea of daisies. Green looks magnificent too, but every colour looks great with this. So, and all we need to do is just join. I join just in the space after where I've tied off, just so I can work down this end and hold it alongside while I work. So we're going to join with a slip stitch and then chain 3. And then we're going to put 3 double crochets into this space, or 2 double crochets now because we've already got 1. The chain 3 counts as a double crochet. So 3 double crochets in there, and then move straight into the next space and put 3 double crochets in there as well. 2 and 3. And then in the next space, we're going to make our corner. And the corners, you can see, are actually treble crochet. In the UK, of course, you know this as the double treble, but it is the same stitch. It is simply yarning over twice before going into the stitch. So you just yarn over once and then twice, and then go into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. So you'll have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. And that's the treble crochet, or the double treble in the UK. So yarn over twice, into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. And we need to do 3 of those. So with the double treble or the treble crochet, you yarn over and pull through 2 3 times. And then once we've got 3, we need to chain 2 and put 3 more in that exact same space. So 1, 2, and 3. And that is our corner. And because we've got 12 stitches here and 12 chain 2 spaces between them, we're going to have a corner every 3, because 4 corners divided by 12 is 3. So every 3 spaces we need to make a corner. So holding my end so I can work over it. So in the next space, we're going to be putting in just 3 double crochets in the next 2 spaces. So 1, 2, 3 double crochets, and then straight into the next space to put in 3 more double crochets. Because we're on our 3rd space now with 1, 2, and 3, we're going to be doing our trebles. Get out of the way, little tail. So this is a corner. So 3 treble crochets, or double trebles, whatever you refer to them as. But yarning over twice to do that, and pulling through 2 3 times. And then a chain 2 and 3 more treble crochets. And 3. And you can see there that is our side. It's just 2 spaces filled with 3 double crochets in each, separated by the 2 corners. So again, the next 2 spaces need to have 3 double crochets, 2 and 3, and 3 double crochets in the following space, and then we're at our corner again. So yarning over twice and putting in 3 treble crochets, a chain 2, and 3 more treble crochets for the corner. Three double crochets in the next space, three double crochets in the next, and we only have 1 space left. And because we started with 3 double crochets and then 3 double crochets and then our corner, this is of course our final corner. So again, yarning over twice to make 3 treble crochets, 2, 3, a chain 2, and 3 more treble crochets. And that is the whole square done. So then we just need to join to the top of that initial chain 3 with a slip stitch. And before I tie off, I do like to just make sure that everything's right. So, because you never know. So now I do know everything's right, so now I can just snip that yarn off. And then we're left with our tails. And if you've watched any of my videos before, you know that I don't think a square's complete until the ends are put away and out of sight. I think there's nothing more dreadful than finishing a giant stack of squares and then realising you've got to put all these ends away. And, you know, every time you change colour, you've got 2 ends. So this one I will show you though. It is, I mean, you know, you can weave in your ends as you like, but you might want to ensure that your centre is as secure as possible. So what I tend to do is, you can see where it's coming out with this particular square. What I'll do is, it's coming out that way, so it's come around that way. What I'll do is go in this way, just under a few strands, and then pop that back in, not where I came out, not under the strand that I came out, but just under the strand in front of it. Pop that back in and go around underneath where it came out initially. And because I want to go a bit further, I'm just going to go in under a couple more. And then again, not where I'm coming out, but just the strand in front, I'm going to go back in and scooch under all those stitches. And that will be quite secure, so you can snip that off there. These ends work away as however you please, but I tend to just do the same thing. I follow the same sort of principle where I go in under the stitches and come out the other side, completely unthread my needle. I try not to do that actually. And instead of going back in under where I've come out, I'm just going to go in under the thread in front of it and come out again. So then I can go back in and through the whole way, and that'll be quite secure. So this one's the same, of course. This one here, you'll see that because you've slip stitched, there will be a little bump on the top here. So I try and work that down and away. And essentially all I do is just go into the next stitch along and try and tuck it down. I'm going to be working under these threads for this end. So what I'm going to do is come in down these stitches here and come down to the next There we go, that bump's worked away, to the next lot of stitches. So I'm not working the thread, 2 different threads under the same set of stitches. But how you sew in your ends is entirely up to you. I just have found that this is the most secure method when you pass backwards and forwards. And that is a wrap. So, well, almost. I've got one more thread to sew in, but you don't need to watch that, do you? There it is there, gorgeous square. And look, they just look magnificent in every colour. Look at it in this carrot orange and this gorgeous little sort of mint green. It is just such a fun square, and it doesn't matter what colour you make it in. It's going to look fantastic. So I do hope you use this square. I've actually got a little project planned. All things going well, I'll show you that in an upcoming video. But take a minute to subscribe if you haven't already. There are releases on this channel, crochet releases, of course, on this channel every week. And I shall see you in the next video. I do hope you enjoy your crochet. Have a great day.